Hi everyone, thanks for tuning in to my Q&A session today with CSC. I'm really excited to share a bunch about my story and about my journey playing softball before UCLA, at UCLA, and after UCLA. So thank you so much, and I hope you guys enjoy. Alright, so one of the questions was, is it hard waking up for morning weights when I was a freshman? Yes, it was extremely difficult. I definitely got used to it, but my strategy was just set a million alarms to make sure that I was not late to weights because I did not want to get in trouble with the coaches or the older girls on the team or anything. But over time, you just kind of get used to it. Going to bed early is the key to getting up at like 5 in the morning to go work out. Okay, so the question is, what did I like most in general about UCLA? So for me, I am really into science and learning about human physiology. So I always knew from a young age that I wanted to go into a healthcare setting, but I knew that that would include a lot of schooling. So for me, during my process of kind of narrowing down which schools I wanted to go to, I definitely wanted to go to a school that was focused on medicine and had really good connections in medicine, so like kind of thinking past softball. So that's what I'm doing now, is using those networking connections and being involved in the healthcare field. Okay, this one is, what was my favorite thing about playing softball at UCLA? For me, I just really love that UCLA softball, the 3 words that we stand by, everyone knows: family, school, and softball. And those 3 things are really important to me, being able to stay close to home and being with my family every single game and after games was really awesome, because that's a really big support system that I have, that I feel like a lot of girls that go out of state or girls that are playing away from where they're originally from, it's kind of hard to find that support system. So I'm really glad that I never had to leave my support system. The next thing, schooling. Schooling is really important to me. Being able to go to a really highly academic, competitive school and knowing that the people sitting next to me are probably going to be future doctors, future engineers, future biochemists. That's just an amazing feeling to have that surrounded in your academic setting. And then lastly, softball. I knew that I always wanted to go to UCLA, and both my parents went there, and their ability to be tough on you, but also love you like you're their own kid is something that I find really unique about UCLA. And just playing every single game out on the field with Bruins across my chest just made me really excited and really proud to represent something that's bigger than myself. So those are the things that I love about UCLA softball. Okay, I'm really excited that someone asked this question. It touches on what were my highs and what were my lows during my softball career. For me, I think a really obvious high would be our team winning a national championship in 2019. Being a part of that and being with that specific group of girls is something really special, because throughout the Bruin generations, there were girls that I played with that were older than me, and then there were girls that I played with when I was younger that were also on the team. So being able to kind of reunite with all of the girls that I grew up playing with and be able to win a national championship with them was really special. One thing that was my low, so my senior year, I ended up getting injured. I think it was the first or second weekend of Pac-12, and I'd had injuries before. I tore my PCL my freshman year, I tore my meniscus my sophomore year, I tore other things, but I played through it always, right? But my senior year injury, I ended up tearing a ligament in my hand. That was my catching hand. So that was really, really tough, because I obviously wanted to play my senior year. I didn't want to not have that opportunity. So kind of stepping into a different role, I would say, was a hard thing for me, because I was kind of always the girl that was on the field and always the one that was batting first, starting in the starting nine, all these things. So being taken out of that really abruptly was kind of hard to mentally deal with. But I found a high through that, because I knew that, okay, take me out of the picture, I know that so-and-so and so-and-so and so-and-so are ready for that opportunity to get on the field, and being their support system and kind of like coaching them through, okay, these are the things that I do here, these are the things that I look for when I'm playing, and kind of stepping into that role was really cool, because I always tell everyone it makes a different energy, and effort makes a difference no matter if you're on the field, if you're never playing, right? If you're in that uniform, or let's say you're not suited up and you're injured, you are important to your team, and your energy carries over into the field, and your energy does a lot to change the momentum of a game. So for me, I think that was really cool to experience firsthand, and then later in the season being able to come back, still playing through that injury, but like come back and finish strong was something that I was really proud of. So that low ended up turning into a high for me. This question says, how did I know that UCLA would be a good fit for me? So me personally, I love everything about academics, and I really think that I thrive through academic validation. So for me, I knew that I would get the best of both worlds. I would be able to compete for a national championship, but I would also be able to really duke it out with the big dogs in medicine and in my classes that I'm taking. So being able to have both of those things kind of satisfied for me was a big deal. Both of my parents also went to UCLA, so I'm not gonna say they influenced me, but they influenced me. I always grew up going to UCLA football games, basketball games, softball games. So being able to go from being in the stands to being on the field was something that I always wanted. And then seeing my team's picture for the 2019 national championship on the wall and knowing that that's going to be there forever is really, really cool. And like the little Kinsley inside of me is like screaming, because that's all I ever wanted when I was little up until this point. So it's really cool to know that I was able to achieve that with my team and kind of like solidify our spot in history. So. Okay, so this question asks, how did I manage softball, schoolwork, and a social life? So for me, I think balance is really important. I don't think anyone can just survive on grind mode over and over and over again, because you will burn yourself out. So being able to know when you need a break from something is really important. And I think time management and being able to rely on your support system are the two things that are really going to get you through being able to manage all of those, being able to maintain those friendships, being able to bust your butt at practice, but still have enough energy to go home and study for a midterm that you have the next day. There is a high standard at UCLA. So I think that people that are wanting to find what college they're going for, right? Try to really be real with yourself. And you just have to say, hey, if I was a regular student, would I be able to survive at UCLA? Yes or no, right? And let's say it's not UCLA, any other school. Would I be able to decide at this school? Great. Athletically, am I gonna be my best if I go to this school? Great. These are two things that have to make sense. So for me, I knew if I did not play softball at UCLA, I still would have been fine at the school. I would have still excelled in my academics at UCLA. And then also, let's say I didn't go to school and I just played softball, I knew that UCLA was still the place for me. So being able to merge those two areas of your life, knowing that you're going to be successful, is something that I would look for if I were to go back in my recruiting process, and what I would spread to a bunch of girls that are trying to be recruited right now. Figure out and be real with yourself. What can you do? What can you manage? What can you excel at? And then go from there. All right, so this next question is going to age me, but that's all right. So they asked, how young was I when I got recruited? So for my recruiting process, it was way before the rule change. So it was around like 7th or 8th grade when people were starting to get looked at, and then normal was 8th grade, you're verbally committing to somewhere. So that's the pattern that I followed, was that early timeline. I'm actually really glad that it did get pushed back to later, because I think it's really important for people to know what they want to study in college. Because if you're just picking a college just because you're like, I don't know, they're good at softball, that's probably not the best way to pick a college. You do need to know what you're going to do after softball at a young age, because unfortunately we're doing a better job now making softball a more sustainable career path, but I do think there still has to be a lot of work involved in that. So being able to pick a school that's going to allow you to have a career path after softball and excel in that is something that I would tell everyone to do. So this next question asked, now that I am done with softball, is softball still a part of my life? And I'm actually really happy that the answer is yes, because I do individual lessons and group lessons and team practices. So being able to kind of coach the next generation and give them just like the tips that I feel like are so evident, like being able to go through that college experience and know your coaches and being like, okay, well, I know that this coach likes this when players do this. And I know that this coach, like, if you do this, like, you are off the list. So it's like kind of passing that knowledge that I have and that experience. And it obviously being through the recruiting process is really important to me. So doing my best, I try to reply to as many DMs as possible about recruiting processes, because I think it's really important and a really good tool to have for someone that might not be in a great position to get recruited, to kind of follow this guidance to end up being able to verbally commit and then sign their name on the dotted line to whatever school they want to go to. Okay, this is a really important question. So this one asks, how do I handle failure? So for me, I am a very analytical and critical thinker. So for me, I always dealt with failure as a great, this happened, can't change it, what can I do from this point forward, right? I'm not someone that's gonna dwell on the past, because guess what? I can't change the past. So figuring out where you went wrong, at least like 3 different ways of how to fix that, and then trying out those paths, right? You try one path, you fail again, okay, let's try something different. For me, I was really big at making adjustments. I think over-exaggerating your adjustment is gonna be way more beneficial than just doing the same thing over and over again. I tell all of my girls at lessons, I'm like, great, what's the definition of insanity? Doing the same thing over and over and over again and expecting a different result. So for me, it's really important to always kind of be self-aware and observe that, and knowing like, great, just because I fail, it doesn't mean that I'm a terrible athlete, it doesn't mean I'm a bad person, it just means that what I was doing wasn't the correct thing for that situation, and that's why it went wrong, right? So kind of taking the blame less personal and taking it more just as like constructive criticism is what's worked for me, and I think can work for a lot of people. So I would say just making sure that you don't get in your little pity party of self-blame, and just try different things to make you grow. All right, I love this question. It is saying, if I played travel ball, and at what level did I play it? So for me, I was a Corona Angel, CA all day. I think being a part of that program is definitely a special bond that I think only people in that program will know, because Marty Tyson is such the biggest lover of all of his girls, and he really puts like his entire heart, soul, energy, blood, sweat, tears, every single thing into every practice, and everything's very individual. So being able to not compare yourself to other people, but know that like he has you on a specific plan for you, and he's gonna get you wherever you wanna go, not wherever your mom wants to go, not wherever your dad wants to go, wherever you wanna go. So being able to be a part of that's really special. So that was my travel ball experience. And then I played the entire way through. So I started travel ball when I was 11 or 10, and I finished at 18U gold. So I had a kind of a unique journey, I think. I think it's less unique now, but back then it was kind of unique. So I played up a lot. I went from 12s to first year 14s to straight 18s. And then I was on that 18 gold team until I graduated. So I was on there since I was 13 years old, and then just stayed the entire time. But I honestly think it's a really great opportunity. You're able to learn from girls that are older than you and about to go to college that next year, you're also able to kind of form that leadership and know the expectation and carry that expectation on as you grow in the program. And then also just being exposed to coaches, because I think a lot of coaches are going to those 18U teams. So being able to play in front of college coaches when I was 12, there was pressure, but I don't think that the pressure is going to outweigh the benefits of that. So kind of being able to play in front of those coaches for 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, all of those years was really special. I think it's a really unique opportunity. So I really recommend that everyone at least try to play up if you're capable, or get on a team where you're able to be exposed to those coaches and being able to be in an environment where iron sharpens iron and you're able to really grow with that program while being recruited at the same time. All right, thank you so much for watching my Q&A. If you guys have any more questions, you can always contact CSE or contact me directly at Kinsley Washington _ on Instagram. Thank you so much, and go Bruins!